The fourth character is character of tawakkul. Tawakkul is called reliance on Allah. This character is another very important character. It stems from a feeling of decisiveness, a feeling of being resolved to do something. So that means that there's a process of coming to a decision. You make your investigation, you follow the steps. Once you come to a decision, that means you move forward and rely on Allah. Results is not in your hand. That how it's going to fall, the outcome may be in your favor or not. It doesn't. Once you make up your mind, you cannot no more calculate. You must rely on Allah and go forward. That's called tawakkul. So the character of tawakkul, as I said, is a character that deals with the method of going about an enterprise. That means once you've done your preliminary investigation about a matter, you've come to a decision to execute it, then at that point you should not engage your mind with the results. You just rely on God and you move forward. That's called tawakkul. So in a verse, God says in the Quran, فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Once you make up your mind, rely on Allah and move forward. Don't calculate anymore. Once you do that, you're going to fail. So that's about character of tawakkul. Next character is character of qist. Qist means justice. It also means uprightness. God says in the Quran al-Kareem, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. Ye who believe, stand in uprightness and be witnesses for God. In another verse, God says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط. Ye who believe, stand in uprightness to God and witness in justice. So witnessing and uprightness are intertwined and interconnected, which means that one cannot be without the other. The person who is able to be a witness is the person who can be a just and upright person. Otherwise, uprightness without witnessing will lead to something that may border on arrogance. That's why God says, يَتَكَبَّرُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ. Those who are arrogant on the earth without the truth. That means there is some form of arrogance which can be truthful, but that is the one that is with witnessing. If it's not without witnessing, then it becomes the bad arrogance as we know it. So sometimes when one has to be upright, you have to do things that may look harsh, but uprightness and justice demands it. You have to stand as a witness for God and get it done. So that is the character of qist, uprightness and justice. The next character, the character of sabr, patience. Of course, all these characters are called great characters, and they're all important. But sabr, certainly, patience is kind of a cornerstone of a character of a person. And we recall to mind the fact that when Moses was about to set out on his learning mission with his guide, the guide had stipulated on him that he must be patient. Meaning that if you can be patient, you can succeed through all the other characters. Now, the character of patience can be defined by three things. First, don't be sad. That means that certainly you will encounter situations that are going to be contrary to your design, to your plan, but that shouldn't make you sad and give up. Second, don't fear. You're also going to encounter things that may instill fear into your heart. But sabr tells you that don't fear and give up. And third, which is the act of the result of the two, don't fear, don't grieve, and don't give up. The sabr is made of these three components. Don't grieve, because grief weakens your heart. Don't fear, because fear brings feebleness to your heart. And if your heart is weak because of fear, or is weak because of grief, then you're going to end up just giving up and quitting on your quest. So to succeed, to get to the end, you must have patience. That's why the word is so often repeated in the Quran all the time. In Allah ma'as sabirin. Allah says God is with those who have patience. Another aspect of patience is that God says وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ, that if you want to seek help from God, you want to succeed in your enterprise, then be patient and be steadfast in your prayer. Now these two goes hand in hand. Patience means to be resistant to the obstacles that are on your way. Salah means prayer, dua, supplication. So it's not only enough to be patient, but you almost constantly also ask God to make it easy for you and to give you success in your enterprise. So وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. In Surah Al-Fatiha we always say إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. God, it is you that we worship, it is you that we seek help from. So God says, you want to seek help from me? This is how it's done. It's done through sabr, being patient, and it's done through prayer, steadfastness in asking God constantly until you get what you want. And the last character, another important character, very important character, is the character of taqwa. The word taqwa, there is no one word translation for it. It is in English. It is basically the combination of other four characters, or all the rest in one, makes up taqwa. God says, اعدلوا أقرب للتقوى. Be just, because justice brings you close to taqwa. So that's one half of taqwa. God says, وَأَن تَعْفُوا أَقْرَبْ لِلتَّقْوَى. If you forgive, that's closer to taqwa. So on the one hand, it's telling you to be just. On the other hand, it's telling you to forgive and pardon. So you have to have a balance between justice and uprightness on the one hand, on the other hand between charity and forgiveness. So if you can combine these two virtues and make it into one character, that is called taqwa. God says, وَتَمَّتِ كَلْمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا. The word of God, the word of taqwa, is completed in terms of charity and in terms of justice. So this word taqwa, as you know, is everywhere mentioned in the Quran because of its all-important character. In Surah 2 Al-Hujurat, God says, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ, that the best among you in the eyes of God is the one who has the most taqwa. So this verse just states that taqwa is the criteria by which God evaluates our characters. God evaluates our ranking and our stations. The one who has most taqwa, basically the one who has justice, the one who has charity, the one who has purity, the one who has Islam, which is tawbah. Such a person is the one who is closest to God. And that, in summary, is what means taqwa.